Hey guys, we're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and this is my guest here. It's called Learn Reselling with me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for coming on today. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell people who you are and where you're from, and tell them what you do.
Yeah, my name is Jason Silverstein. I'm a realtor and I also sell items on eBay and occasionally Facebook Marketplace. I have a YouTube channel called Learn Reselling with me, where I'm basically documenting my progress from going from someone who knew absolutely nothing whatsoever from selling on eBay. I had no idea how to do garage sales, thrifting. I knew nothing 20 weeks ago. And I've been doing a video once a week since then, just talking about what I've learned and trying to help people out. As I learn, I'm showing people the way, how to be good on eBay.
Awesome. So, what got you started in reselling? What got you started on your journey in reselling? Like, were you watching YouTube videos? Did you have a friend or family member that talked you into it? Like, what was the story?
Uh, what happened is I came across an opportunity. A friend of
Yeah.
mine who's a real estate investor who I worked with closely for many years. I've been friends with him for many
Right.
years. He decided that he's going to
Yeah.
slow down and he wanted to sell all his real estate investing educational material. They used to call it books and tapes. It's not really books and tapes anymore, but
Yeah.
CDs, all that stuff. He had thousands of dollars worth of it. And it just seemed like a good opportunity to sell on eBay. He didn't want any more. And it took me a couple of weeks to think about it, but I decided, I wanted to be on eBay, selling eBay for quite some time. I've seen other people do it. I watched a big follow of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he always talks about it. So I saw this was a great opportunity to get into it without putting any of my money into it. So we worked out a consignment deal where I would sell all his stuff and then we would split the profit 50-50. So that's what got me into it. And I discovered that I enjoyed it.
Awesome, awesome. I just wanted to say hi to Drew is in the chat from Profit Monsters. I don't know if you know who Drew is, but he's a YouTuber and a reseller, and he's also a real estate agent as well in Florida. He lives in Orlando. So our guest today, Jason, he's a real estate agent just south of me. You're in Sarasota, right across the bridge, right?
That's right.
Cool. So how long have you been working as a real estate agent? How's that been going for you?
That I've been doing for, I guess, 23 years, since 1998. And that's been going fine. It's pretty steady.
Okay, awesome. And I wanted to say hi to Katie Reed, just stopped by and said hi. So, hey, Katie Reed, thanks for coming by and hanging out with us today. So tell me, man, how has your journey been? You said you started about 20 weeks ago in reselling, and you said you were just outsourcing today at yard sales. Tell me, how has your journey been so far with reselling?
It's been very interesting. I was just doing the consignment with the stuff I had, so that was interesting. I was just looking up things, the real estate investors, and how to put that on eBay. And there was a seminar speaker called John Schaub, and he also happens to live in Sarasota. I don't know, maybe you've heard of him. He's a national speaker, and I had a bunch of his stuff, and I was able to sell it really easily. Like, they were tapeless cassettes. I had 6 or 7 of these, and I sold them each for $80 each pretty quickly. So right away, I had good luck, and I thought, this is kind of the way it is. It's always going to be like this, because those are nice sales. Like I kept half of it, so that's around $40 minus the fees, and I thought that's kind of the way it was. And then as I started running out of the good stuff, I realized I need to go out and source my own items. And I started buying some stuff that was basically junk that I paid too much for. It didn't sell too well on eBay. So I went through that process.
Right.
Now, 20 weeks later, I think I'm really getting much better at being selective, knowing what to buy, paying attention, how easy is it going to be shipped, to ship out, how easy is it going to be packed, how easy is it going to take to list, how long is it going to take. I'll make a $5 profit. It's just going to take me 5 minutes to work on. If it's going to take me longer, I want a larger profit. And just from watching a lot of YouTube videos and podcasts, I've sort of learned what to buy.
Okay, awesome. I wanted to say hi to my buddy Resell Dojo. Steve is here, and Maritech 7 is here. It says hello, eBay addicts and guests. And I think that's everybody in the chat. If you guys have questions for our guest, drop it in the chat. It says, does your guest have a YouTube channel? Yeah, his YouTube channel is called Learn Reselling with me, correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yep, exactly.
So tell everybody about your YouTube channel. What inspired you to start your own YouTube channel? And talk a little bit about how your journey has been on YouTube so far.
Okay, sure. Interestingly enough, I don't know if other people do this. The exact same time I started reselling, selling on eBay, I started the YouTube channel. And that was because I wanted to make it more fun for myself. I thought it would be, I'm doing this all on my own, I'm by myself. To make it more enjoyable, I just imagined having people watching me as I progress. And that would give me motivation to keep on going. And I had a channel previously, just Jason Silverstein. So I already knew about YouTube. And I thought it would be great to have a channel where every single video is about reselling, because that's good. That's YouTube likes that when people who watch it know exactly what they're going to watch. And I really enjoy doing the videos. I get a kick out of it. You know, it's fun for me. Sometimes I throw in a little jokes. Some people get it, probably some people don't. And it definitely has made it a lot more enjoyable for me than if I was just reselling totally on my own without anybody watching. Or it's interesting to have people watching me. And if I go from a very beginner to a pro and people were able to watch me along the way, I think that's very powerful for myself and other people.
Awesome. Yeah. So talk about some of the items that you've recently scored on lately. I saw one of your recent videos where you went out and bought a couple of baseball bats to resell on eBay. Just maybe some items that maybe somebody would overlook if they're at a yard sale.
Sure. Yeah, I got a couple of softball bats. And those, okay, I still have one of them here. I don't know, maybe you can see it. Yeah. So what is interesting about the softball bats is the two ones, I didn't really know anything about them, and they had a lot of smudges on them. So not knowing much about those bats or anything like that, I wasn't quite sure they were worth a lot of money. But I did look it up on my eBay app, and I saw that they could be worth money. I saw that there's potential. And I didn't even know to put in the model number. I was pretty green. It was the first time I was ever buying the bats. And I didn't even know they were softball bats. I thought maybe they were baseball bats. So I didn't really know anything about them. But fortunately, the person I was dealing with didn't know much about them either, because she was selling them for somebody else. So I got there before the garage sale started. It started like at 9, and I got there maybe around 8:45. Not intentionally. It just, I was in that neighborhood and I was about to leave the neighborhood, and I knew it started at 9, but I thought maybe I can get in there early, because once I leave the neighborhood, I'm not coming back. And I saw the woman, she was setting up, taking stuff out of the garage, putting it in the driveway. And I just said, hey, can I look at your stuff? She said, sure. She invited me into the garage, and I saw those two bats. And I immediately walked right over to them, because I saw another YouTuber, a Harry Tornado, one time. He talked about that he bought bats. So that's what gave me that tip. And I looked it up, and like I said, I saw that they could be going for over $100. I wasn't exactly sure. And I don't remember the whole exact story, but the bottom line is I was able to buy both those bats for $12. I've already sold one of them for $82. And the other one I'm holding on to. And I think once the weather warms up around the country, and around here in Florida, we're kind of spoiled. We could play softball year round, golf year round, but I think I'll be able to sell it for good money. And so that was definitely one of my best flips. I can go on to others if you want. We can go on to another question.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Miratech7 says they just subscribed to your YouTube channel. So awesome. Yeah, his links are in the description if you want to follow him on YouTube and Instagram. Katie Reed wants to ask a question. She says, is there something you would never sell no matter what the profit margin is? Is there anything in particular where you're like, hey, I don't feel comfortable selling this, or this is unethical, or this is something that I don't want to sell? Is there any items like that you could think of?
Well, thanks. First, thanks for the subscription, the previous comment. Appreciate that, Meritech. Is there anything that I wouldn't sell no matter the profit? I'm going to take a different spin on this, Katie, than maybe your question is intended to. I would not sell something that I would be super anxious about shipping. Like I would be afraid to ship it, like it's going to break during shipping. I could think of like some electronic equipment or something that's really, really hard to ship. Other than that, I don't know, maybe I'm not thinking the right way, but anything people are willing to buy, I'm willing to sell.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, some of the stuff that's glass or breakable items, that could break when you get damaged. And also, I really don't like fooling with clothing. There's some people that love selling clothing. I'm not a big fan of clothing sellers. We got Resell Dojo is in the house. He says, what are some of your favorite places to source? Like, so when you're out getting merchandise, what would you like to go to? Estate sales, yard sales, thrift stores, like pawn shops? What are some of your favorite places that you like to go sourcing at?
Yeah, I'm on you with the clothes too. I don't like doing all the measurements and all the stuff. So yeah, we're alike on that. Favorite places to source. Number one, number two, number three are garage sales and yard sales. I love those so much because you're dealing directly with the seller. And I know from my real estate days, I did some real estate investing. That's the part I love, negotiating directly with a seller, not an agent in between or someone's in a store like a thrift shop. You're dealing directly with a seller, which you never know what you might come across or what kind of deal they can make you. They're right there. They are the decision maker. So you could say, oh, okay, I'll take all of it. Or if I take all 50 of this, how much will you sell it to me? Garage sales, I go, that's my number one go-to for sure.
Right. So you love the thrill of the hunt and the negotiation part of it, where you're saying, hey, you're asking $10, will you take $5? So you love the whole negotiation back and forth over the items. Like you have fun doing that, right?
I do like the negotiation part of it for sure. It's just they are the decision maker, and you never know what kind of deal you could walk away with or what you're going to walk into when you go to a garage sale. Like I picked up some great stuff today. It's too new to really talk about. I haven't gone through it thoroughly, but I'm excited about it.
Okay, awesome. Nanik asked the question, says, what platforms do you currently sell on? Do you just sell on eBay? You also said you sell a little bit on Facebook Marketplace as well, right?
Yeah, primarily eBay. And then for locally, I try to sell some stuff locally on Facebook Marketplace. Like, for example, I had some weights, like for lifting weights. And I sold that locally and it sold right away. It was great. And I never would have wanted to sell it on eBay. Example of something I wouldn't want to sell because that would be super hard to ship. And I sold like some tennis rackets on Facebook Marketplace. But eBay has definitely been the place for me. What I want to do is I want to get good on a platform, and I'm choosing eBay, really build up my feedback, really get to know it. And then maybe at a certain time in the future, I may go on to another platform as well. But I like focusing on one, knowing exactly how it works and being good at it.
Yeah, awesome. So your experience so far being a reseller, do you have any tips or tricks, or you have any advice? You have any recommendations or suggestions that you could pass down to somebody to maybe help them out?
Yeah, I certainly do. I guess number one is before you buy something, figure out how you're going to ship it, how long it's going to take you to pack it, and factor that into when you're thinking, well, I could buy it for this and sell it for this. Sure, but how long is it going to take you to pack it and ship it? Because that's the mistake I made over and over again in the beginning. My first
Yeah.
purchase was some holiday nutcrackers, which I bought them at the right time of year in November, but they were all pretty difficult to pack and ship. It wasn't just like throwing in a poly bag. They had a lot of details, had to bubble wrap it. And at the end of the day, I didn't really make any money. And I did that many times until I learned. Now I love selling things like plush, like stuffed animals, which you could just throw in a poly bag. And I scored good one time a few weeks ago at a garage sale when I got a rare squishmallow, which sold for $35, and that was part of a package where I bought 4 of them for $10. And each one of them they had the tags where you could just scan on them, so it was super easy to list, sell, and pack and ship. I'm really being conscious of how long it takes the time to list, pack, and ship. And that's the biggest thing I would pass on to whoever I'm talking to.
Yeah, and you want to think about how much money you have tied up in that item, and you want to look at maybe sold comps of how long it's going to take for that item to sell too, so that could be part of it. So we got a few more questions in the chat. Nanik says, how many listings do you currently have listed on eBay?
I have about 55 right now.
Right. You just started like 6 months ago. And right?
20 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And Meritech 7 says, do you enjoy flipping footwear like sneakers and dress shoes?
I've tried it twice. I got one pair of sneakers on there that my mom gave me that's been sitting there for quite some time. And then I recently bought some sneakers at Goodwill. They're pretty good. A6 Gel Guyano 26, a popular make and model. And those haven't sold yet either. So I don't have enough information to really give you a solid answer, but I have not, just based on those two times, I haven't done that so well on that.
All right. So, Jason, I have a question, man. I was watching one of your recent YouTube videos, and you were talking about working a job compared to doing reselling. And you were saying, which one, in your opinion, you think is better? Can you talk a bit about the video that you put out? Because I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's something I think a lot about, choosing either to be a reseller or have a part-time job. And the reason why I did that video, the motivation for doing that video in the first place, is I'm doing better now. But I kind of realized I was per time per hour, I was hardly making any money per hour. Maybe $8 an hour, because I just wasn't making smart decisions in what I was buying and what I was doing. And would I be better off in a part-time job? And would other people be better off in a part-time job? And the conclusion I came up with was just basically, if the only thing you're considering is the money, if the only reason why you're doing it is for the money, a part-time job is probably easier to do, easier to get the money. You don't have the stress of buying and selling stuff and taking time to go to garage sales that maybe you don't get anything at. But the conclusion for me and other people like me is I'm not a get a job type person. I'll take the losses. I'll take the learning curve of doing this reselling. I enjoy that part of it. That you gotta learn to you got to put in the time. You might have to work longer hours in the beginning to make the money, and you got to take risks. And for me, it's a no-brainer. I enjoy this much more than I have no desire to get a part-time job. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to keep on going until I'm good at it. And I'm already getting better at it.
Yeah, for sure. I think just people are different and wired differently. There's some people that are used to having a set schedule where they punch in at 9 o'clock and they go home at 5 o'clock. And then once they punch out at 5 o'clock, they go home and they don't even think about work. Where there's other people that can have more of an entrepreneur or self-employed mentality, and they're okay with that. They're okay saying, "Hey, I may sit here and list items for an hour or 2 hours, and it may take a while for this item to sell, but I'm doing it on my terms. I don't have a boss bossing me around telling me what to do all the time."
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me, man. What are some of your most profitable items that you have flipped so far?
I got the bats. There was a Japanese English dictionary that I
Yeah.
picked up a couple of weeks ago. I got it for $3 and I sold it for $30. The great thing about that one is I've said this so many times, I guess I'll keep on saying it. It was very easy to list, very easy to ship. It was a small little electronic device in a hardcover case, so it wasn't going to be damaged easily. It took hardly any time at all to deal with it, and I really liked it. The other thing is I got to that garage sale late because I was going to other garage sales. So many people passed up that opportunity. They just didn't look at it. They didn't notice it. So I would advise people to look at everything when you go to a garage sale. You never know what you might be passing up, because a lot of people did pass that up. Then the other flip that comes to my mind is the Squishmallows, which I love Squishmallows now. I got 4 of them. 3 of them were kind of like the normal ones. They sold for $15 each. So 3 sold for $15 each, and 1 sold for $35 each. It was a Halloween green and black Squishmallow that sold for the big money. So I don't remember the math, but I think it was paid $10, made 80, not made, but sold them for $80. So that was nice. Then if I go to some of the stuff I got on consignment, which I got, can't really say what I paid for it because I just got it on consignment, but I made some nice over $300 sales on that. That actually comes out to more money than some of those flips, but it's, I got it on consignment. I got it for free basically and split the profit. But time it took me to do it, and the money I made on those $300 sales was really superb.
Right, awesome. I wanted to say hi to Mo from the Reseller Knit. He just stopped by to hang out with us. So I got a question for you. Who are some of your favorite YouTubers that you like to watch, reselling YouTubers that you watch when you have downtime?
I like, well, first off, I guess there's a podcast called Pure Hustle Podcast. And I love listening to that one because I like listening to podcasts as I walk. So I listen to that one religiously. Even sometimes, most of the episodes are really good, but even if it isn't that great, it's still, because it's a podcast and they have good audio, I really enjoy listening to that one. So if you like listening to podcasts, I definitely recommend that one. I like Harry Tornado. I've learned a lot from him. Then there's, I've watched a couple from I'm drawing a blank here. Help me out. What are some of the
I don't know who you're talking about. You're talking about Cincinnati Picker. You're talking about Lonnie from Shed Flips. Like, I don't know. You're talking about Rally Roots. I
Rally
don't.
Roots, I watched him. Cincinnati Picker,
Yeah.
uh, the Stay at Home Mom one.
Yeah.
Ashley Stay at Home Mom. Hustle at
Yeah.
Home Mom. I've seen a few of hers.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right.
yeah.
So, Jason, I want to ask you a few questions. I want to switch gears here. Talk to me a little bit about what your journey has been like as a real estate agent. If somebody is watching and they have an entrepreneurial mindset and they're like, hey, this sounds awesome. I could be my own boss and just make my own work schedule, and maybe I'd be able to make a killing selling houses. Do you have any thoughts or suggestions or recommendations to somebody if they wanted to get started in working as a real estate agent? And do you have any tips or tricks that you could share with them?
Yeah, I do, because I've been doing that for a long time, and I've seen people come and go, and I've seen people make it and people not make it. So I guess I have a good perspective on this. To become a realtor now, obviously it's hyper competitive, hyper competitive. So I there's one person that comes to mind that came in completely green. You didn't know anything, brand new agent. And then within a few months, he was selling $1 million houses. And he became one of the top agents within 6 months, which is pretty unheard of. It was a combination of natural talent. He was naturally good with people, naturally friendly, and he was willing to work. He got to the office. Well, I don't know if he got to the office, but he would wake up 5 o'clock every morning, and he would go to the office, and he would make his phone calls, and he would just work the whole day. So it's a combination. He had the natural talent, he had the people skills right away, and he was willing to work. And you really need both. If you just have one or the other, you can do okay. But you really need both to kill it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if someone has never worked as a real estate agent, can you kind of cue them in, tell them behind the scenes what kind of money they can make as a commission check? Like, let's say the average house in Pinellas County is a $300,000 house. If you were the listing agent or the selling agent, what kind of commission check could you expect to get out of that? Let's say I came to you and I said, "Hey, Jason, I just sold this $300,000 house. What kind of commission check could you actually earn from that?"
Well, let's say the normal commission is 6%, and you would be splitting that. So what you said? You said $300,000 house.
Yeah. So 6% would be 6,000 off every 100,000. So we're looking at probably what, $18,000 gross, right?
Yeah, 18,000. Good math there. Yeah. So like you split the listing agent and the buyer's agent. Listing agent gets three, buyer's agent gets three, unless you find the buyer on your own, which is rare, but it does happen. So you get 9,000, and then maybe you're splitting with a broker, or unless you have 100% commission split with a broker, which you can do too. Yeah, there's really, don't get me wrong, there's really big money in the real estate, and it seems like, just looking at it from a distance, much bigger money than reselling. So it just depends.
Well, I was just throwing it out there because, most of our guests are resellers, but since you're both a reseller and you've been a real estate agent for 20 plus years, I just thought I would ask you some questions, because if someone else is like, man, if I have this entrepreneurial spirit and I'm willing to put in the work, if they're like, man, if I can make $9,000-$10,000 in one day in commission, maybe that's something they could look into. I just wanted to kind of take them behind the scenes of what they would need to do to get started, and if there really is some good money they could make as a real estate agent if they're willing to put the work in, right?
What might be a good idea is if I just sort of, I don't, and it's up to you if you want me to do this, sort of compare the two, being a realtor versus being a reseller. Was that helpful?
Yeah, you can do that. I just wanted to kind of bring it up just in case somebody in the audience was curious and they wanted to learn a little bit about it.
Okay. Interestingly enough, there are a lot of similarities. because I worked at Keller Williams, where they have a good training program, and basically you have a routine. So you every morning you would make your phone calls, do lead generating every morning, no matter what. No matter what's going on, you make those phone calls, you do those things, because and the work that you do doesn't pay you today. That work you do, contacting your past clients, contacting future clients, that's going to pay off down the road, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road. So you're doing stuff today that's not going to pay you today, that's going to pay you in the future. And it's just kind of similar to the reselling, where you're listing items today. You have a listing habit, a listing 5 items today, and it's going to pay you much sooner than it would as a realtor. But sometimes you don't see the results right. Or you're listing, and you're not seeing the results. And maybe you're getting discouraged because nothing's happening, not seeing the sales. But if you just stick with it and make sure you do your listings no matter what, it'll pay off. And that's kind of how I see the similarities.
Yeah, and another similarity is like on eBay, you only make money if you make a sell. So you're getting paid on commission. Whereas a real estate agent, you're also getting paid on commission. So I just wanted to bring that up. If somebody was entrepreneurial minded and they were like willing to put the work in, I just wanted to let them know, like, hey, if you're willing to do the work, I've seen real estate agents that are making $9,000-$10,000 in one day from their commission checks. But like you said, they were making phone calls, they were setting up appointments, they were kind of doing work on the back end, right?
Yeah, 9,000-10,000 in one day from work they started doing a year ago. So it's
right.
It's important that people know that.
All right, awesome. So do you have any suggestions or recommendations that would help somebody get started in this field? I'm just asking you because you've done it for 20 years, so that's why I'm asking you.
Oh, the realtor field?
Yeah.
Suggestions on getting started?
Yeah, getting started, or why they want to get started in this field, or any tips to help them be successful.
I would probably, if I was starting today, brand new, I would take the hit to my ego and join one of the teams, one of the real estate teams that's really killing it. They're always looking for buyer's agents, or usually you start off as a buyer's agent or just someone who makes phone calls, because when you don't know anything, it's very difficult. So go in with a team where you got rock stars, people who really know what they're doing. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Okay, you just froze. People who really know what they're doing. Learn the ropes from the best, and then once you know what you're doing, you can either stay with that team or go off on your own. But in real estate, there is just, if you think there's a lot to learn as a reseller, which there is a lot more to learn as a realtor. And start out by learning from the best, even if it might hurt your ego a little bit, that you're not working on your own, you're working for a team. That's just my suggestion.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that don't have, unrealistic expectations that you're going to crush it your very first 6 months, or very first. Learn skills and build up over time. I've seen people that have made, $200,000, $250,000 in 1 year as a real estate agent, but they didn't start off that way. That's all I'm saying. So you might want to just kind of temper your expectations and remember that you're only going to get paid on commission. So you're going to be doing a lot of work up front, with the anticipation that it's going to pay off down the line. So Jason, I wanted to get back to reselling a little bit, unless you wanted to talk more about being a real estate agent. But I just wanted people to know, if they come by and check out your channel, let people know a little bit more about your YouTube channel, what kind of content you make on your channel, and why they should go by and check you out and subscribe to your channel.
Okay. I have a lot of how-to videos, like how to make money selling low-value books, how to pack and ship items, and the video part-time, getting a part-time job versus a reseller. I have a video showing how I did how much money I made in my first 4 weeks. I have a
Right.
video, should you consider selling on consignment? Just whatever comes to whatever I'm going through during the week, that's usually the video I make. And I like to I like to give as much value as I can in each video. It kind of, it's something I enjoy. If if there was like a teacher of reselling, I would apply for that job.
Right.
That's something I really love doing. I enjoy doing. I think part of the reason why I start off in the first place is I see people that maybe are struggling in life. They're not making the amount of money that they want to make, or they're not doing what they want to do. And reselling is an avenue for them, which a very low barrier to entry. You don't need a ton of money. You don't have to have 40 hours. You don't have to buy a store to get into reselling. You can get into it pretty relatively easily, and you can start making money almost right away. You'll make mistakes in the beginning, but it's something anybody can do. And if I'm able to help people do that, if I'm able to help people make money, I think that's fantastic. It's sort of my way of giving back at my channel.
Yeah, so you have a win-win mentality. You want to be successful, but you want to help other people win and be successful as well. So,
Yeah.
so far, give me your top maybe 2 or 3 tips that would help somebody make more money on eBay. Like, what would you tell them? If I came to you and said, hey, Jason, I'm listing items, I'm not making sales, I want to increase the amount of money I'm making on eBay. What do I need to do? What am I doing wrong? Like, what would you tell them starting out? Like, what would your recommendations be? If I said, hey, what are 2 or 3 things that I can be doing right now to make more money on eBay?
Number one is you have to have a listing habit. I did it very sporadically my first 2-3 months. I wasn't listing every single day. I would list, and the next day maybe I'd be tired and I wouldn't list because it's not really full time for me. So I wouldn't really keep up with it. Or I list some items and have some good sales, and I was busy packing and shipping those items because I sometimes have to watch YouTube videos on how to pack and ship those items because I didn't know how to do it, and that would take some time. And I would say, oh well, I did my job today. I packed these items, I shipped them out, even though I didn't list anything. So I had all these lulls in sales. So it would be great if someone from the very beginning started a listing habit where maybe they just list one item, and they could list all 7 items on one day and keep 6 in draft mode or schedule them out if that's how they want to do it. But I think it's important to post a listing each and every day. That keeps your sales coming in. And the listings are what powers your store. And the next thing is, which I mentioned several times, but it's worth mentioning again, before you buy something, pay attention to how long it's going to take you to pack it and ship it. Because you could lose a lot of time on items where you didn't make much money, and you got to spend a lot of time packing and ship it. And I guess the third thing is, because I really love garage sales, you get better at garage sales by repetitions, going to them over and over and over again. I remember when I first started on stuff that wasn't very valuable, I'd spend lose all this time scanning and scanning and scanning, and I never really found anything because I was looking at the wrong stuff. Now I've been doing garage sales for not a long time, but longer. I can go right to the items that I think could be valuable, and I'm much more efficient. I can get to because when you're in garage sales, they usually start 8 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 7, and they're pretty much ramping up at 12, usually earlier, And the game is to get to as many of them as you can without rushing. You want to make sure you look at everything when you go, but you want to get to as many as you can. So knowing your inventory has been a huge help for me, and I saw it in action today. I passed over a lot of stuff that normally I would have spent I've lost a lot of time just scanning things that were not worthwhile. And I also passed over some things that I could have bought for like $5 and sold for 20.
Yeah.
That's just not worth it to me anymore. I can do better than that. So I passed up on that stuff too.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, if you see an item for $5 and you think you could sell it for 20, but then you have to factor in your shipping costs, your eBay fees, all of that as well. So those things all got to be taken into account. So I wanted to check in with the chat. We had the Flippin' Sports guys here. We had Miratic7. Miratic7 says great interview and great guest. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Drew says great interview, Jeff. Keep doing these. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us, Drew. Yeah, I have another guest coming on Sunday. I have Gravity Goods coming on Sunday. So tell everybody where they can find you at on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, YouTube is Learn Reselling with me. And Instagram is at Learn Reselling.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, my battery's getting ready to die on my phone. I'm at like 3%. So sorry, guys. So just tell me your final thoughts, Jason, on reselling and being an entrepreneur as working as a real estate agent. Give me kind of your final thoughts.
Real estate agent and reseller.
Yeah.
Okay, but basically, to do it, you have to enjoy working on your own. You have to, let's say maybe that being a reseller or being a realtor, you're going to work 60 hours versus 40 hours at a job. And knowing that in advance, you choose it anyway. If that's your attitude, then it's for you. You're the right type person, because you might end up working longer hours and harder than you would in the job, and maybe making the same amount of money or less money than a job. But if you enjoy it, if it's something that you like, if you like that the amount of time and effort you put into something is what you get out of it, if that's your type of mentality, then being an entrepreneur is for you. And for me, that's the only podcast I listen to, entrepreneurial stuff. That's the only books I read. That's the only thing I know. That's the only thing I want to know. So that's for me. And if that's the type of person you are, then I say go for it.
Yeah, for sure. And if something that you're passionate about, then you should pursue it. I think that if you follow something, whether you like being a real estate agent or whether you love reselling, if you just, if it's something you're passionate about and it's something that you enjoy doing, if you just, I think I heard a saying one day. It says, find something that you love to do and you'll never work another day in your life. So if you find something that you love doing and it's something you enjoy doing, it's not going to feel like work to you. Like you said, you may work 50, 60 hours a week, but if it's something that you enjoy, it's going to be rewarding to you. So I just wanted to say hi to a few people in the chat. The Thrifty Lobster came by, the Vintage Mentality came by, and it came by and says, I will watch a few videos after this. So thank everybody here for coming by and hanging out. And I want to thank Drew from Profit Monster. Says, great interview, Jeff. Keep doing these. And thank you for coming on and hanging out with us today. We greatly appreciate you. And hopefully we'll see you again in the future, right?
Yeah, definitely. I can come back when I've progressed further and we have an update episode. Well, thank you very much, Jeff. You
awesome.
did a great job in this interview.
Oh, hey, thanks for coming on and hanging out with us. You guys have a great weekend. I will see you guys on Sunday with Gravity Goods. I'll see you then. You guys have a great weekend. Till then, you guys have a great one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.